The Go Wild Area event starts soon around the world, but many of you still had questions about the event, so in this video I'm going to be answering your last minute questions and clarifying anything you might still be confused on. Now the first comment I want to go over isn't exactly a question, but definitely something I think for any new or returning players who are watching this should be aware of. Even if you just started playing this game, this event is for you. Like, it is legit one of the best events for new/returning players thanks to the mighty Pokemon. Not only are you going to be able to get hundos really easily, being a 1 out of 27 chance because the IV floor is going to be 13, 13, 13 on these mighty Pokemon, but you also are going to be able to catch them at level 35 or higher, and then if you actually have the weather boost, level 40 or higher. So this is one of your best opportunities to actually obtain a ton of really good Pokemon, build out your raid teams, and literally spend 0 Stardust doing it. And if you're not really sure which are going to be the best mighty Pokemon to pay attention to, I just uploaded a video going over all of that, so you guys can check that out right now on screen or in the description down below. Why am I not getting points on my Into the Wild pass? Is there a limit per day? So I always get this question, and I tried to answer this in one of my other videos, but yes, there is going to be a point limit for the lead-up event, but over the weekend on November 15th and November 16th, the point limit is going to be removed. So if you're kind of worried that you're not going to be able to get enough points over this weekend, seriously, do not stress about it whatsoever. How many Safari Balls are we going to be getting for both ticket holders and non-ticket holders? Okay, so historically, the way that it worked is that we would have a free research for the ticket holders where you would get like 10 Safari Balls every single hour, and then for the non-ticket holders, I believe they gave them 4 Safari Balls to use for the entire day, so you'd get that on both days. But there was no mention of any of this in the blog post or any of the official information, so we actually have no idea how it's going to work this year. But what we can do is we can take a look at the in-person event that happened last week. So according to the people that played the in-person event, they were getting Ghost Safari Balls from these balloons, and I believe they were getting these at the start of the hour, so keep an eye for any balloons in game. That's probably how you're going to be getting the Ghost Safari Balls during this event, if it's going to be the same as the in-person event. Now for the players who won't have the event ticket, how can you actually get Safari Balls for free? So last year, the only way to get them for free was by spending Pokestops, and the drop rate was pretty low, so I wouldn't expect to get that many of them throughout the day. If you don't plan on buying the event ticket and you're going to be using those Ghost Safari Balls, make sure that you're only using them on the best Pokemon that you actually want. Do not use them on every single mighty Pokemon because it's going to be very hard to get these back. Now last year we did actually have a $2 ticket that would give you Safari Balls every single hour, similar to the paid ticket, but it was just for the Ghost Safari Ball bonus, which was actually pretty nice. But this year during the in-person event, they actually just put them in the store so you could just buy them for Pokecoins, which I guess to some players that might be something you might want to consider, but for the most part, I hope this isn't the case. Like, I hope if you at least have the event ticket, you're going to get Ghost Safari Balls every single hour, and you won't have to actually go and buy them from the store, because that would really suck. And again, that is for people with the event ticket. People without the event ticket, I think this might be something you should consider, especially if, you know, you don't really want to buy the event ticket, but you do want to get some of those really good mighty Pokemon, especially if somebody calls out a hundo, you want to have a Ghost Safari Ball ready. Anyways, I hope that does clarify things. For the paid ticket holders, you should be getting Ghost Safari Balls every single hour, whether that's from the research or from the balloons. And then for the non-ticket holders, you're pretty much going to have to spend Pokestops if you want to get them, but Ghost Safari Balls might also be available in the shop, so you can also purchase those for Pokecoins. Now, if you guys actually have the event ticket, you're going to be able to pick a Dark Path or a Fairy Path, and you're going to get 1,000 Stardust additionally for every mighty Pokemon you catch of that respective typing. I was pretty indecisive about this myself, but I was leaning towards the Dark Path, and after reading a few of your comments, I think I'm definitely going to go with that one. What are going to be the shiny odds if I do happen to buy the ticket? So for all the Pokemon, they're going to have a base rate of 1 out of 512, but if you buy the event ticket, the shiny rate is going to go all the way down to 1 out of 128. Now keep in mind, there's also going to be a handful of perma-boosted shiny Pokemon that are going to have the shiny rate of 1 out of 64, and whether or not you actually have the event ticket, you will be able to get these Pokemon at this shiny rate. And if you want to know which Pokemon are actually going to be perma shiny boosted during this event, then definitely make sure to watch my best Pokemon to hunt video that covers all those Pokemon. Going back to the main question here though, you're going to get a shiny rate of 1 out of 128 on all of the wild Pokemon spawns from habitats. The raid Pokemon are not going to be shiny boosted, and same thing with Gmax Grimmsnarl, neither are going to be shiny boosted. And when it comes down to mighty Pokemon, they're also going to have a shiny rate of 1 out of 64. There's not going to be an additional boost for these shiny Pokemon. It is just going to stay at 1 out of 64 whether or not you actually have the event ticket. Same thing with the Lake Trio that can actually spawn from the special Incense spawns if you guys do have the event ticket. I believe the shiny rate is going to be 1 out of 20, that's not going to be boosted. But that is already an incredible shiny rate, so it kind of makes sense. Now a very specific question, and definitely one I think a lot of shiny hunters are probably curious about, is how hard will it actually be to find shiny Impidimp in the wild if you bought the ticket and you're going to be in an area with a lot of Pokestops? So shiny Impidimp or Impidimp is going to be featured throughout the entire event through both habitats because it's going to be a fairy and dark type Pokemon. so you'll most likely have a lot of chances to actually encounter them. And if you have your Incense running, you're walking at a decent pace, you should have a pretty good chance of encountering a ton of these throughout this event and actually getting yourself a shiny. Will Mighty Pokemon spawn for an additional 15 minutes, 6 p.m. to 6:15? How often will Mighty Pokemon spawn? Is it random or specific time frames? So the first question here, and this is based on how it was last year, to my knowledge, no, they're not going to have the extra 15-minute time frame like they did last year. There was no mention of that in the blog post, and I don't believe that was the case for the in-person event either. In terms of how often they're going to spawn, it's completely random. There's no specific time frames for them other than the exclusive ones that are going to be on Saturday and then the exclusive ones that are going to be on Sunday. So for the most part, they should be the same as they were last year. You'll just encounter them randomly as you would any other Pokemon, and you could also encounter them from your Incense spawns too, or from lure modules. Do Mighty Pokemon have a higher flee rate? Yes, they do. They are going to run away much more often, which is where the Ghost Safari Balls kind of come in because they give you a much better catch rate. Now, if you do happen to encounter a shiny Mighty Pokemon, that is not supposed to be able to run away. As a ticket holder, how many particles do you get from exploring? So the specific amount or the specific increase was not mentioned. Normally, it's 2 kilometers for 300 MP. So going off previous events, I'd have to imagine it's going to be doubled, so it's going to go from 300 to 600, but the walking requirement was not reduced, so it's still going to take you 2 kilometers to get that 600 MP. I'm probably going to be playing maybe 3 to 4 hours a day of the event. What do you think about me buying the ticket? I think that's a good amount of time on both days easily. You'll definitely be able to get your money's worth. What Pokemon do I need to buy the ticket to encounter? If I just want Shadow Darkrai, is it better to skip the ticket and buy passes instead? So if you literally don't care about anything else except for Shadow Darkrai, then yeah, I think just buying raid passes makes more sense. Can you tell me the hours specifically that Mime Jr. will be in the 5-kilometer eggs? The way I understood it is that those will show up on Saturday at 10 a.m. local, then go until when the event is over on Sunday night. So this does depend. I feel like they've done this differently depending on the event. Sometimes you could get the special eggs after the event was over on Saturday, and sometimes they went back to the regular egg pool. So I really can't tell you what's actually going to happen, but if you want to play it safe, just make sure to get your special 5-kilometer eggs during the event hours and you should be good to go. Hopefully somebody in an earlier time zone like New Zealand can let us know if this is actually the case and they will be available after the 6 p.m. time window on Saturday, but until we get that confirmation, we really have no idea how it's going to work. As a free-to-play player, do I use the regular or daily incense? Okay, so we actually have to talk about this one in depth because there has been a lot of discussion around using the regular incense or the daily incense. So if you use a regular incense, you're going to get the special Mighty Pokemon spawns whether or not you actually have the event ticket, but if you do have the event ticket, you're going to get the unknown spawns as well as a chance at getting the Lake Trio, Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit in their Mighty Pokemon forms, which means they're going to be high level, and you have a 1 out of 20 chance of actually getting a shiny this way, and a 1 out of 27 chance of them actually being a hundo. So you actually have a super good chance of getting a Shundo Lake Spirit from your incense during this event. But on the flip side, if you use the daily incense and then you extend it with Roar of Time, you could use the Ghost Safari Balls for the increased catch rate to actually get yourself a Galarian bird. Now, personally speaking here, I would much rather use the regular incense and have a chance of getting a Shundo Lake Spirit, opposed to a Galarian bird that's probably going to have bad IVs, and it might be shiny, like it's still going to have the same shiny rate of 1 out of 20, but the chance of encountering a Galarian bird is very slim, and we don't really know how often we're going to be able to encounter the lake spirits from the incense during this event, but, you know, all things considered, I would say that I want to go with the lake spirits for sure during the event hours. But there is actually another aspect to this, and that's because the Ghost Safari Balls are not going to expire at the end of day 1. They're going to carry over to day 2. So essentially, if you use your daily adventure incense after 6 p.m. and you do happen to encounter a Galarian bird, you can actually use a Ghost Safari Ball because they're not going to be deleted after day 1. They will be deleted after day 2, so you'll only have a chance to do this after day 1. Now keep in mind, you do want to get yourself ready for day 2 of the Go Wild area event, so I would not spend too much time doing your daily adventure incense. Maybe just do the standard 15 to 30 minutes and see if you do encounter a Galarian bird if you're actually lucky, and then you have the Ghost Safari Balls ready to go. But it's totally up to you. I mean, if you want to just worry about your sleep schedule on Monday, that's perfectly fine. I definitely need to get some sleep before day 2, and I'm probably going to have to restock after day 1, so I'll probably do my daily adventure incense for like 15-30 minutes maybe, see if I get lucky with the Galarian bird, and then I can use a Ghost Safari Ball. But at the end of the day, guys, it's totally up to you. There has been a lot of discussion around whether or not you should be using your daily adventure incense during the actual event window hours, but you could actually have the best of both worlds, theoretically. Who do you recommend as your buddy during this event and why? So this comment actually answers it pretty well, so I'm just going to go over what they said. Depends on your goal. Any Pokemon who is buddy level 3 or above to provide catch assist with raids and Gmax is good if you can. Bonus if it's either shiny or legendary to help making identifying Zorua on the map easier. Otherwise, the following could all be useful to work on their evolution requirements. Pancham is going to be to catch 32 Dark-type Pokemon as your buddy. Kubfu is going to be to either win raid battles or Dynamax battles against Dark-type Pokemon with single strike Urshifu to get that evolution. Hisuian Quillfish and Galarian Yamask are going to be to win 10 raids. And they didn't include this, but Biostripe is also going to be win 15 raids against either Steel or Dark-type Pokemon in raid battles, so you could also do that one as well. But I think after I'm done with my Pancham, I'm probably going to go with a buddy level 3 or higher just to work on that throughout the event, especially since I'm going to be walking, I could get some buddy hearts. One of my friends got me super into buddies, and I'm not going to say I'm like heavily invested, but I definitely do my buddy Pokemon a lot more than I used to. Would you travel to a town 25 minutes away to join a community meetup for this event? And if that town is scheduled to have rain both days this weekend? Love the content, thanks for all you do. Okay, so yes, 100% I would go to a community meetup during this event for sure. It's going to make your experience so much more enjoyable. It's going to be way easier to get the raid battles done and the max battles done. You'll definitely have a lot more fun just playing with others, even if it is going to be raining. I actually have to deal with the rain on both days as well. This weekend it's going to be raining pretty hard in my local area, so I'm going to go to my local mall and probably do the raids and max battles there. You'll still have tons of fun hanging out with other people during this event, but yeah, unfortunately the weather conditions were not super optimal during this event for those of us that are going to have to deal with the rain this weekend. Sorry to ask, but should I put some rare candy into my Gible? I have some really good shadows and I do not have a lot of candy to evolve to get their legacy movesets and power them up. I always have trouble getting Gible candy. I TM'd away frustration off of them. Okay, so here's what I would do. Yes, you could do that if you really want to, but we're gonna have Garchomp available as a mighty Pokemon during this event, and you can just Pineapple Berry every single one of them to get 20 candy per catch. You can build up a ton of Gible candy just from farming Garchomp during this event, and after the event, if you feel like you don't have enough candy, then you can maybe consider, investing more rare candy into your Gible, but I don't think you'll really need to. I think you'll encounter plenty of Garchomp, and you'll be able to farm a ton of Gible candy for sure during this event. Now finally, I do want to mention this for anybody who wasn't aware, there's going to be a free item storage upgrade in the in-game shop. You just have to go down to claim it. You're going to be able to add 200 additional slots in your item bag, which is crazy good. Normally that would cost 800 Pokecoins, so go to the shop and make sure to claim this. You'll have until the end of the month, I believe, to actually redeem this or to go in the shop and actually claim it, so you still have plenty of time. But given that we're about to go into a massive weekend of playing this game, I would say you want to go in there and claim that right now rather than later. So I just wanted to mention that for anybody who wasn't aware. I had a few people kind of mention this to me over the past couple of days, and it's something I didn't really include in my videos recently because it was completely random. They just were like, hey, we're just going to give you some free item bag storage. Like, okay, cool, awesome. And they also gave us like 400 additional item bag storage recently as well. I think it depended on your level, but it was like to go alongside the level up requirements or the level up changes that recently happened in Pokemon Go. So all around, massive win for Pokemon Go recently. I just got like 600 more space in my item bag, which I'm never going to complain about. That's amazing. So make sure to go to the in-game shop. You have to scroll down to where the Pokemon storage and the item bag upgrades are, and there should be a free box right next to it. Otherwise, that pretty much covers all the questions I had for this video, and with that, my Go Wild area coverage has concluded for 2025. Thank you all so much for watching the videos this week, and hopefully my guides will help you out over the weekend. Wishing you all the best of luck, but if you still need help deciding which Pokemon are going to be the best of Bottle Cap, then check out this video next.